In the small village of Abakpa, nestled in the heart of Africa, there lived a beautiful chubby lady named Ola. Her beauty was undeniable, but her love for money was even more striking. Ola had a peculiar way of judging people, and her criterion was simple: wealth. If a man was rich, she would lavish attention on him, no matter his age or appearance. However, if a man was poor, she would frown and insult him, warning him to stay away from her. The villagers would often whisper about Ola's behavior, shaking their heads in dismay. The poor men in the village would try to approach her, but she would scoff at them, telling them they were beneath her. She loved the rich men, with their flashy cars and fat wallets. Ola would follow them around, taking gifts from them and meeting them in secret. Ola's grandmother, Nana, had raised her from a tender age. Nana's eyes would well up with tears whenever she thought about her daughter and son-in-law, who had died in a tragic accident on their farm. A big palm tree had fallen on them, leaving Ola without parents. Nana had taken on the responsibility of caring for her granddaughter, but Ola never listened to her wise words. Nana would often sit Ola down and advise her to change her ways. "Ola, my child, money is not everything," she would say. "A man's worth is not measured by his wealth, but by his character. You should look for someone who loves you for who you are, not just your beauty or your body." But Ola would laugh and ignore her grandmother's words. As time went on, Ola's behavior became more and more brazen. She would sneak around the village, meeting her rich lovers in bushes, huts, and questionable places. The villagers would whisper about her exploits, and Nana's heart would ache with worry. One of Ola's lovers was a wealthy old man named Chief Okoro. He was known for his ruthlessness and cunning, but Ola was blinded by his wealth. She would do anything to keep him happy, and he would lavish her with gifts and attention. But one fateful night, Chief Okoro's true nature revealed itself. He took Ola to an abandoned hut on the outskirts of the village and subjected her to unspeakable abuse. Ola was left battered and bruised, both physically and emotionally. The incident left Ola's life in shambles. She became withdrawn and isolated, unable to face the world. Nana's heart broke when she saw Ola's condition. She had warned her granddaughter about the dangers of her lifestyle, but Ola had refused to listen. Now, Nana's worst fears had come true. As Ola struggled to come to terms with what had happened, but with Nana's support and care, Ola slowly began to heal. Nana thought Ola had learned a lesson from her past experiences. She believed that the abuse she suffered at the hands of Chief Okoro would be a wake-up call for her granddaughter. But as Ola's physical injuries healed, Nana began to notice that her behavior hadn't changed. Ola continued to follow rich men, young and old, sick and healthy, as long as they had money to offer her. Nana's heart sank as she realized that Ola hadn't learned from her past mistakes. She tried to talk to Ola, to reason with her, but Ola just shrugged her off. "I'm fine, Nana," Ola would say. "I can take care of myself." But Nana knew that Ola wasn't fine. She was still trapped in a cycle of self-destruction, and Nana didn't know how to help her. One day, Ola met a young man named Tond. He was charming and handsome, and he had a lot of money. Ola was immediately drawn to him, and she began to spend all her time with him. At first, Tond seemed like a perfect catch. He showered Ola with gifts and attention, and she felt like a queen. But as time went on, Ola began to notice that Tond was very possessive and controlling. Nana tried to warn Ola, but she wouldn't listen. Ola was too caught up in the attention and affection Tond was showing her. She didn't see the warning signs, and she didn't realize that she was in danger. As the days went by, Ola's relationship with Tond became more and more toxic. He would belittle her and control her every move. Tond was a bad partner. He shouted at Ola and even hit her in public, but Ola stayed with him because of the money and gifts he gave her. She put up with the abuse. Some days, she came home with bruises and used hot water to ease the pain, but the next day, she would go back to Tond. Tond came from another town to work on the government secondary school project in Ola's community. He lied to Ola, saying he was single, but he was actually married. One day, Ton's wife, Laura, visited him unexpectedly. Ton was shocked but pretended to be happy and welcomed her with a smile. Inside, he was worried. He quickly texted Ola, telling her he wasn't around and she shouldn't visit him. He promised to call her when he returned. The next morning, Ton left for the construction site and told Laura to stay indoors. She agreed, but as soon as he left, she grabbed a raffia basket and went out. She asked the neighbors for directions to the market, saying she wanted to surprise her husband with a nice meal. The women were curious and asked her questions. They said, "We've never seen you here before. Did you just move in? Who is your husband?" Laura smiled and replied, "My husband is stunned. He's working on the secondary school project." The women were shocked. They showed her the way to the market, but as she walked away, they laughed and gossiped. One said, "Wonders will never end." Another added, "So that guy is married. After he dumped me, he started dating Ola because of her big behind. I must tell his wife the truth. He needs to be exposed." And as they walked around gossiping, they spread the news about Ton's wife. Laura went to the market, bought vegetables, meats, and spices, then headed home. On her way, some women in the village stopped her. They told her about her husband, Ton, and his womanizing ways. They mentioned Ola, his well-known lover in the community. Laura was shocked and heartbroken. She asked the women to describe Ola and show her where she lived. The women eagerly directed her. When Laura got home, she boiled water until it was very hot, poured it into a bowl, and stormed off to Ola's house. When she arrived, she saw Ola sitting on a wooden bench, busy with her phone. Laura called out, "Ola," and when Ola looked up, Laura angrily threw the hot water on her. Ola screamed and fell to the ground. Laura ran away immediately. Ola's grandmother heard the screams and rushed outside. She found her granddaughter crying, her skin peeling from the burns. She poured cold water on the burns and applied some local cream to ease the pain. That evening, as they sat outside on a raffia mat, Ola's grandmother asked, "Who did this to you?" Ola replied tearfully, "I don't know her. A strange woman came and poured hot water on me." Her grandmother, Nana, asked, "Did you sleep with someone's husband?" Ola cried, "Nana, I'm only dating Ton, and he told me he's single." Nana was determined to find out who had harmed her granddaughter. The next day, she walked around the village asking questions. After hours of searching, she came across the women who had spoken to Laura. When Nana explained what had happened, the women were shocked. They said, "Nana, she's Ton's wife. We only showed her where Ola lived so they could talk. We didn't know she would do something so cruel. We are so sorry." Nana's anger grew. She left the women and went straight to the palace. She reported the incident to the king, crying as she told the story. The king sent guards to bring Ton and Laura to the palace. The guards arrived at Ton's house and took him and Laura. Ton, unaware of what his wife had done, demanded to know why they were treating him like a criminal, but the guards remained silent. At the palace, the king questioned them. Ton was shocked when he learned what Laura had done. Laura admitted her actions, saying she acted out of anger. The king passed judgment. Laura was sent to the local prison, and the king ordered Ton to marry Ola as compensation. Ton reluctantly agreed. However, that evening, as preparations for the marriage were being made, Ton fled the village. Ola, now with a burned face, was left heartbroken. She cried, "Nana, my face is ruined. No man will ever find me attractive again." Nana, stunned by Ola's words, said, "Stop worrying about men and focus on healing." But Ola continued to cry and lament her fate. As the days passed, Ola's wounds began to heal but the scars remained. The village gossips laughed at her whenever she passed by and Ola felt sad. Few weeks later, Mr. Sam, a rich old widower who had just retired from his work at the city, relocated to the village to rest. He saw Ola and admired her nice body. He approached her and Ola was so shocked and happy. No man had asked her out or even approached her ever since her face got burnt. They talked and soon, they became very close, always spending time together. 2 months later, Mr. Sam proposed to Ola and she happily agreed to marry him. They had a small intimate ceremony with lots of food to eat and drink. After the ceremony, Ola moved in with Mr. Sam. And they started living together. Mr. Sam loved her so much despite the scar on her face, and Ola felt relieved and happy, until one day, Mr. Sam's son, Femi, visited them. He had been abroad studying for years. They were so happy to see him. Ola prepared his favorite spicy jollof rice and roasted chicken and they all sat together, eating, drinking and catching up happily. Femi respected Ola and admired her relationship with his father. He also thanked her for taking care of him. Ola smiled, but as the days passed, she began to notice how handsome Femi was. She admired his looks and body build. She loved the way he walked, ate and the way he smiled at her. She would hide behind his bathroom window and watch him as he showered. She noticed how huge his manhood was and she yearned for it. She started wearing very short and revealing dresses. She would enter his room and serve him food. Femi also began to notice she had interest in him. He smiled. She is young and her body is nice, he said to himself. One night, after Ola finished satisfying her husband, he slept off snoring, and she quickly sneaked into Femi's room and they made love. It was so intense that she fell asleep in his room. She woke up very late and hurriedly ran back to her matrimonial room, but to her surprise, her husband was still sleeping. She smiled, feeling relieved. She laid down beside him and few minutes later he woke up. She made breakfast and they all ate in the dining room smiling. Unknown to Mr. Sam, his son Femi had slept with his young wife. As the days passed, Ola continued sneaking into Femi's room with her burnt face at night. This continued for several weeks, but one midnight, Mr. Sam woke up to urinate and his beloved wife was nowhere to be found. He checked the bathroom, sitting room and the kitchen, but she wasn't there. He wondered where she had gone to. As he walked back to the room, he heard her moaning softly with passion. He wondered where the sound was coming from. As he paid attention, he noticed it was from Femi's room. Mr. Sam's heart broke. He angrily got into his room, carried a short pistol, quietly walked into Femi's room and shot both of them. As they laid on the bed lifeless, he stood there sad and confused. He didn't know what to do. Few minutes later, he shot himself too. It was a very sad situation. As the days passed, Nana wondered why her granddaughter had not visited her, like she always did frequently. So she went to check on her. Immediately Nana approached the house. She perceived a very horrible smell coming out of the house. She wondered what it could be. She yelled Ola's name, but there was no response. She walked in and what she saw made her shout and cry bitterly. She ran out and informed the villagers and they rushed to the scene. The villagers were shocked. They wondered what could have happened and Nana explained that she found them that way. After much deliberation, the village native doctor was summoned. The native doctor did some incantations to find out what had happened. As he did his thing, Nana got scared and started sweating. The native doctor revealed the cause of their death and also revealed that Nana was the cause of everything. She was a witch. She has been the one manipulating and bewitching Ola all along. She sacrificed Ola's parents to her coven and also put the spirit of waywardness inside Ola. And it eventually caused all the unfortunate incidents in her life and eventually her death. The villagers were shocked and angry at Nana. They had judged Ola's lifestyle not knowing she was being manipulated spiritually by her own grandmother. They shouted and laid curses on Nana. Nana was eventually banished from the community. And as she roamed around the evil forest surviving on rabbits and fruits, wild animals devoured her. As we reflect on this story, it serves as a reminder to be mindful of the evil that can exist around us. Sometimes, it may come from those closest to us, family members, colleagues, or friends. However, it is important not to judge others harshly, as we can never truly understand the battles they face. Most importantly, let us draw closer to God for guidance, wisdom, and inner peace. By nurturing our faith, we can learn to face life's challenges with patience and strength. This story also teaches us a valuable lesson about the dangers of reacting out of anger. Mr. Sam's anger led him to make decisions that caused irreversible harm, including his own tragic end. Anger often clouds judgment and leads to regret. Let's learn to manage our emotions with care and seek solutions calmly. Remember to value kindness, forgiveness, and integrity in all aspects of life. These qualities not only enrich our relationships but also help us build a more compassionate and harmonious world. Thank you for watching and reflecting on this story. Please share it with your friends and loved ones. It might inspire meaningful lessons and conversations. Stay tuned for more captivating stories from this channel. Until next time, take care and bye for now.